Welcome back. You're still tuned into Midcap Radar on CNBC TV 18. Well, BLS International Services is the stock on our radar today. It has set the stage for the market debut of its arm BLS E-Services. Earlier this week, BLS International's board approved the IPO of the subsidiary. It holds about 70% stake in the E-Services arm. Do note, BLS E-Services provides tech-enabled services related to PAN and Aadhaar, among others. Shikhar Agrawal, Joint Managing Director of the company, is joining us now to discuss this and a lot more. Shikhar, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Well, you have so far not bifurcated your revenues in terms of visa services and BLS E-Services, which is digital. What percentage of your revenue comes in from this business and what are the margins here?
So the revenue that comes from the digital service business, which is essentially the BLS E-Services, is around 20% of the overall revenue of the company. So we did around 1,500 crores of revenue on a combined overall basis last year. So out of that, 20% was the digital service, which is the BLS E-Service business. The margins in this business are growing. In the visa business, we are doing a margin of 16 to 17%. In this business, currently, we're doing a margin of 12 to 13%, which is also growing month on month.
Okay, so the revenue contribution of BLS E-Services is 20% to the top line with margins of 12 to 13%. What is driving this improving margin trajectory for BLS E-Services? And your current top line would be close to about 300 crore for BLS E-Services. Where do you see it headed? What are the growth projections and forecasts?
See, we see massive growth coming in both BLS Visa, BLS International and BLS E-Services. The reason being, we recently acquired a company called Zeromass in BLS E-Services, by which we have become the largest banking correspondent partner for State Bank of India. We've already tied up with different other banks and we see a major revenue coming in from other banks that we have won contracts with, and we're in the process of deploying out centers with different states of India. On top of that, the contracts that we have with different states like Karnataka, UP, Rajasthan and Punjab, for citizen service, West Bengal for land record registration, we are seeing a good increase in revenue from those contracts and are in process of bidding for newer contracts from different state governments also.
Oh. So do you think your top line can grow at 30%, 40% for BLS E-Services and you could achieve margins of 15, 16% or at least similar to visa services?
See, if you compare the last 3 years, we have grown massively in the BLS E-Services business because of the acquisition we made of Zeromass of 150 crores last year. Definitely, we are expecting major growth coming from BLS E-Services also. That is the reason that we are listing the arm separately, because we want a dedicated focus on BLS E-Services and the fund requirement that we have for BLS E-Services for acquisition of different companies in that segment and the new contracts that we'll be winning in. We do not want to use the ones from visa business. So that is the reason why we are listing that company separately.
Okay. So, Shikhar, will this IPO be a fresh issue or an offer for sale? How much will promoters be diluting? What do they hold in the company right now?
Correct. So this will be a fresh issue with money coming into the company. Promoters are not diluting any stake. BLS E-Services will continue to be a subsidiary of BLS International post the IPO also.
What's the size of the IPO that you're targeting, fresh money raised?
We are targeting around 20 to 25% of the fresh issue share capital of the company.
And what would that amount to?
We have already engaged the legal consultant and the merchant banker, which are evaluating the financials of the company and are coming out with the formalities to be filed for DHRP. So I think at that time we will be they will be coming out with the exact amount.
Okay. Any timeline that you have in mind for completion? By when do you think this will hit the markets?
In the next, I think our plan is to file the DHRP within the next 1 or 2 months. And then that process, SEBI takes their own timeline. Accordingly, we will be hitting the market.
So maybe sometime towards the end of FY24?
Yes. So from our side, as I've told you, our target of filing the DHRP will be within the next 1 or 2 months. And then the time that it takes, if it's earlier, then definitely calendar year of this year.
Okay, so we'll be tracking that closely. Generally, Shikhar, can you explain to us, does BLS E-Service need money for CapEx? If yes, what is it typically used for? What all does it entail, this particular segment?
So definitely, BLS e-services is a growing company. We need money for deploying different offices across different states of India. Right now, we have offices in 28 states across length and breadth of the country. We are looking at different contracts that will entail some capex. We want to invest in technology. We're also looking at acquisition in that sector. So I think there are a host variety of things that we are looking at growth, in that company, which will need money.
What will BLS, the listed company, hold in BLS e-services post the IPO?
It will continue to be a subsidiary of BLS International.
So
BLS e-services will continue. Yeah.
So around 63%.
Exact percentage, as I've told you, I need to check, but it will continue to be a subsidiary of BLS International.
Okay, all right. So that is about the new IPO which is in the offing. Shikhar, tell us about the demand trends in Q1. Usually it's a strong quarter. We've seen a lot of long queues and appointment waits for Shenzhen visa as well. That's been happening. Tell us, how has it panned out? Is it better than Q1 last year? What are the trends looking like in Q2 as well?
Definitely, this quarter is better than a similar quarter last year. In terms of the volume that we are seeing from countries like India. Certain countries, because of COVID, still are opening up, like China, have not fully opened up. But certain countries which have opened up have definitely seen, better trends than last year. Q2 is also expected to remain strong. Now this is the new normal in terms of travel. You can see from the, orders of planes that have been done by the big airline companies. They are getting ready for the new demand in the industry. So I think that will only lead to benefit for companies like us. So definitely we see improved demand than last year happening this year.
Very quickly, just one question on BLS e-services. What is the organic or like-to-like revenue growth? Because while it's been growing very fast, it's also been aided by the acquisition of Zero Mass Private Limited that you did, State Bank of India's banking correspondent. So that skews the growth rate. If you strip that out, what is the kind of growth that you are seeing in every center, for instance? Many of these, QSR companies give us a like-to-like growth, a same-store sales growth. Can you give us something like that for your centers?
See, this is a very new segment for us. We started this business only 4 to 5 years back. So definitely, we don't have the exact numbers at hand, currently. But this sector has been growing at least 30-40% in the last 3-4 years for us. And, we expect the growth momentum to continue.
Okay. All right, Shikhar, we'll speak to you soon again when there are more updates here and after your quarterly numbers as well. Thanks a lot for joining us. That's the word coming in from BLS International, all about the subsidiary that they have, and they're planning an IPO in their digital services arm as well. With that, we'll slip into a short break. On the other side, in our special offering, Midcap Spotlight, we'll focus on TD Power. It is surging on the back of a large trade. Stay tuned.